All right, we're back at it again. Welcome back to another Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Refine the Mind. It's been quite some time since the last episode. This whole year has been a bit of a weird one. It's safe to say that COVID has kind of thrown a wrench or curveball into everyone's schedules, rhythms, lifestyles. Down here in Victoria, Melbourne, we do have quite strict lockdown restrictions at the moment, and I'm not going to get too deep into that, but in the meantime, we have kind of taken a bit of a step back and decided to take our time and just pace ourselves during this moment where we're not really allowed to go out and film and do as much as we would like to have done and also plan to do. But to get on to the topic of the video, so the way the topic of this video kind of came about was I was just thinking, okay, look, it's been a bit inconsistent with the Refine the Mind episodes, and what's the topic that feels right to kind of come back to when coming back to these episodes? And it made me think of regrets initially, but then it kind of turned more into mistakes. So in no particular order, I'm going to be listing out the top mistakes that I feel like I've made in my own journey of filmmaking. Also, a little side note, I have a tendency to say you a lot. I hope you guys understand that when I do say you, it's more like referencing myself from like a second or third person perspective. Like, it's just a self-reflection. I'm not actually telling you that you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But anyways, without going on for too long, let's get into the video. So the first topic is money. So this topic kind of deserves its own video. There's so many different angles, perspectives, and facets. So one of the first things that I feel like comes first, even before getting money and getting paid and finding your rate, is confidence. So personally, I'm quite a shy, introverted person. When I first started doing the filmmaking stuff, I just created stuff. I didn't really interact with other people. I needed to put myself out there more, start to interact with people more. For example, if I want to do more short films, I should be talking more to people who are doing short films, not just putting out a short film. So there's the whole aspect of like reaching out, not just letting the work do the speaking, but also speaking for your work. Because with that confidence, I feel like that's when the money starts kicking in. That's when you find that self-worth. One of the biggest mistakes I made, especially when it came to pricing myself, was not really understanding, learning how to save, learning how to invest, learning how to, use your money in a way that's going to give you more return. So one of the things that I did was I started comparing myself to filmmakers who I felt were similar levels to me, or, in a range that felt quite comparable to me. And then I would look at their rates, or I would even try to chat to them and see how they price themselves and whatnot. And it wasn't more like to gauge like, oh, I'm gonna beat this competition. It was actually literally just like hey, I honestly don't know what to do, and could you please help me? And so that way, that's how I first started to give myself a well-deserved rate. I felt like at the time it was more like the standard industry hourly wage, and then from there it started picking up into like a half-day rate or a full-day rate, which again, I think this topic I'll delve more into another video. So in a nutshell, stay confident, learn more about where the money is coming from, where it's going, and just learn about finances in general. So speaking of money, I feel like that really leads into respecting the craft. The more I treated filmmaking like a 9-to-5 job, the more I focused too much on the money, the less I started to respect the craft. I let money decide what actions I would be taking. And then at the end of the day, I go home feeling exhausted and just not satisfied or happy or feeling fulfilled. I never started this job because I purely wanted to get rich or, get a lot of money. It was never really about that. It was because I loved films. And then on top of that, it's also bad people is bad business. I don't care how much it is, it's not worth working with people that do not respect you or what you do. And on the flip side, good people is good business. The more that you work with people that you're aligned with, the more that type of work comes your way. If you want to do more traveling stuff and you work with more people that are inclined to go traveling and love traveling, if you do more of one thing, you're going to attract more people who are within that style or who are geared towards that style. On top of all of that, working with good people, you just end up feeling more happy and fulfilled. Like, this is just, it's such a silly thing to kind of forget about. But yeah, you could say that money can really blindside you. So one of the other things that can be quite blindsiding is the gear. This can also be its own video, which I'll get into later. But anyways, I remember when I first started going on my filmmaking journey and I was watching all these incredible filmmakers and incredible artists, and immediately my brain was going, what do they use? Oh, that camera must be the one that they used. Oh, this one looks really good. But obviously that was not the right approach, because what ends up happening is like you get this gear and you expect it to create something amazing, and you point it, shoot at something, and then you go like, why am I not getting the same result as all these other amazing filmmakers? I'm using the exact same gear as them. I've spent this much money. It's not working. What's not working is I don't have the principles. I don't have the skills. I don't have the fundamentals and techniques. And so when I first started making films, I was like, I'm going to go to university to have Red Epic cameras. I'm going to use the industry standard. Get the cheapest gear, whether it's the phone, whether it's like a secondhand camera, whether it's even a camcorder, like anything that you can pick up and capture something with is the best place to start. Learning the fundamentals and the principles of how all of this works. How does lighting work? How does framing and composition work? What are the principles of design? I was just missing some skills in terms of how to light stuff, how to, frame things, how to move the camera in a certain way to evoke a certain emotion. And so, revisiting those fundamentals was really important for me to take that step away from just relying on gear and relying more on my actual skills. On the note of gear, make sure to practice before a shoot. So what ended up happening to me was I had a shoot when I just got my GH5 and I thought, damn, the GH5 is a powerhouse. Like, it's got such good specs when it first came out. I mean, it's still really good. What am I saying? Sorry, GH5 fans. I'm a GH5 fan. It's a bloody good camera. It's still such a good camera even to this day, 2020. I see like everyone releasing a video these days. 2020 is GH5 still a relevant camera. Every month someone's releasing another video. And I will say this, it's always going to be a relevant camera. Any camera is relevant. Again, learn the fundamentals. I'm getting off track here. When I was shooting a client project with a newly bought GH5, I was kind of fumbling around and trying to figure it out on the shoot itself, which is a big no-no. I've never done that ever in my life, except that one time. That was very bad, very unprofessional. That output was not anywhere close to what we both envisioned. And lesson learned, don't go into a shoot without having practiced what you have to work with. So next topic is social media. One of the first things is not really understanding the power of social media. When I first started getting into video editing like 10 years ago, like actually 12, 13 years ago, something like that. That was when YouTube was first starting, and that's where I originally put some of my stuff online. And I used to make anime music videos, just good old days. But anyways, back then when social media was first starting to really break the landscape of the internet and how people communicate and showcase who they are, what they do, their work. When all these platforms are coming up, I really downplayed them or just didn't really pay any attention to them. And so when I first started jumping onto Instagram and started to build more of a community, I did start to put my name out there. I built what I feel like is a close circle of people that I can just talk to and, share work with. And for that, I think it's very rewarding. It might not be a lot of people, but at the end of the day, I think it's really important to be able to, have that, again, going back to that confidence, to put yourself out there, reach out and put yourself into that trajectory and that direction of where you want to go. There's also the side where social media can really destroy you. And what I mean by that is comparing yourself and feeling insecure and feeling, like you're putting yourself down when it comes to the amazing work that's out there. When you're consuming so much stuff, especially when it's stuff that you look up to as well as you want yourself to be, and then you look back at your work and feel like, oh man, like I'm nowhere close, I'm not very good, and then you start going down this rabbit hole feeling like absolute crap. It's not a very safe headspace or mindset to have. Turn that into something where it's more about gratitude. Be thankful that you have all these resources to be able to then learn yourself and take yourself to another level, instead of putting yourself down and comparing yourself to such amazing work. It's not a good place to be. Next thing is writing. It's really what it is. Just keep writing. Thanks for stopping by. So what I used to do back in the days was I used to carry this like little notebook with me. Actually, I don't know if I still have it. I'll check. So I don't have the one I used to have like 10 years ago, but I do have this one here. So I used to use this and just take it around with me anywhere I went. And whatever I saw, whatever it was that inspired a thought, an idea, vision, whatever you want to call it, I started writing that down in this book. Whether it turns out to be a joke, a poem, a script, or a self-reflection or a diary entry, just being able to write and get these ideas outside of my head really helped me to not just develop these ideas into bigger and broader ideas, but also to self-reflect and manage myself as well. What I started to do again more recently is to try and write every single day. So I'll just have a session to myself, at least an hour of just writing whatever it is. Again, self-reflections, a diary entry, doesn't matter what, just write something. I think the last short film we made, Behind Closed Doors, that was about 2 years ago now, 2018. Since then, haven't written or, shot another short film. And I want to do more films, enter them into the festival circuits and get into competitions and whatnot. And that's because I just stopped writing. It's such a silly thing, and it sounds really simple to say, but just gotta get writing. Lastly, and most importantly, make films. So going back to the point I made about, not having made another short film in like 2 years, and how this turned more into a job than something that I love and respect, or, treating this like my passion. Making films is, again, very simply put, the most effective way to get better at the journey of filmmaking. To be real transparent with where I am at the moment, I haven't been in the best headspace, to be honest, and it's not an excuse to not be making films. This happened more in like the last 2 years, and for the people that listen to our podcast, you probably would have heard a lot about it. The filmmaking became that 9-to-5 job, which I dreaded, which I left. And it put me in a spot where I didn't feel very good about myself. And one of the hardest things that I've felt like I've been tackling is really finding that love and passion again to why I started making films in the first place. The house me and my partner bought, it came with a home cinema because since I was a kid, I've always wanted to have a home cinema. I've always wanted to take the stuff that's inside my head, capture it and put it out there. And it really hurts me to my core, like a deeper level, like especially the past year where I haven't really made something that I felt like was really deep, close and dear to me. I mean, that's not to downplay the stuff I've done. It's a bit hard to explain, but when you feel like you've lost the passion for something that you've felt so deeply in love with, it's a pretty painful feeling and something that almost feels like you can't recover from. But there is definitely a way to recover from that, and that is just to get back into it and just keep doing it. I know I love doing it, and I know I love the feeling of making films, and so there's really no excuse, or there's no real thing hindering or stopping me from doing so. And so this is just a reminder for myself, and if you're in a similar position as me, I hope this helps you as well. But it's just a reminder to tell myself, don't stop making films. You like this too much. Like is too weak of a word. You love this too much. That's how much it feels like it means to me. And if I'm gonna let that slide away, then that is not a mistake. That's a regret. And I don't think that's ever what I want it to be. And so, again, just keep making films. Don't stop. Anyways, sorry that got a bit personal. I don't mean to come off like, I feel really tired. Just being locked in, being restricted. But again, just gotta have to wait, stay patient, and try to stay sane in the meantime. Somehow we're still getting more subscribers. I know that 1,000 at this time of the video, 1,200 is not that many, but it's something that's kind of surprising to me and Kurt. And we're like, wow, people are still watching and people are still contacting us through these videos, which is really cool. Which actually does make me want to do more of this, because I think like if I'm able to add value to the people watching this, then that's probably the most rewarding thing about making these videos. I want to make a quick announcement that we just released a LUT pack called the Wanderer LUT Pack. Now this LUT pack has 15 unique LUTs which are based on old film stocks, so that you can get this nostalgic and filmic look for your footage. And you can find this online on our website at www.mindstudy.com.au. Links will be in the description. And on top of that, there are some future LUT packs that are coming, as well as like a free LUT pack. And this stuff will be in its own video, and I'll go into more detail on that next time. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got something out of it. And for now, I'll see you guys next time.